Good morning, students. Today, I, Padmaja Behera, has come with another video depicting the poetic devices. It is otherwise called literary devices because we cannot just say that these devices which the poets use or the writers use is only for poetry. It can be for literature, it can be for any prose for that matter. Now, let's understand what is a poetic device or a literary device. Poetry is written in lines which may not be sentences, and the lines are combined into groups called stanzas. Poets deliberately choose arrangements of words and lines. Some poets even plan the spaces between words and letters to create a form. Secondly, many poets they also, they try to rhyme. So that is why we say rhyme or rhyme scheme. A particular stanza has a definite rhyme scheme. Now let's proceed to the next slide. It is otherwise called a figurative language. Oh, these poetic devices have been called or have different are given a different language, given a different name. They are called other figurative language, and it is different than the literal meaning. It is also called figures of speech. Now let's understand the various types of poetic devices. To begin with, we'll start with rhymes, the words which end with the same sound. Next, the last letter of a particular line which rhymes with the last letter of the second line. That is called a rhyme, if it is rhyming or not. Now, next is rhyme scheme. The pattern of rhymes in a stanza. It may be AB AB or CB CB. Suppose the first letter ends with A and the next letter of the last of the line, the second line ends with A, so it will be AA. Suppose the third letter of the third line, rhymes with the first letter of the first line, the last letter of the first line, it becomes AB, AB. That means the second line, the last word of the second line is rhyming with the last letter of the fourth line, AB, AB. Next is CB, CB. Next is rhythm. When we feel the beat, suppose a person is singing a music, then also they feel the beat. Suppose if that's why we always say read the poem aloud. When we read the poem aloud, we can understand the rhythm. The next literary device is a free verse. That I told you earlier also, and I am repeating again. Free verse means it is just like a prose. The lines they don't rhyme. The poem they do not have a rhyming sound and sound more like a conversation, as if a conversation is going on. Like in class 12, there is a poem, My Mother at 66. That is a free verse because it is started and when the in between it has only commas and it is ended with a full stop in the last stanza, the last line. Now, repetition, repeating sounds, phrases, or whole lines in a poem. That is repetition. Next is simile. Simile, the literary device, is a comparison using between two things, using as or like. I've given an example. The sun was blazing like an angry fire. Like has been used, so it is a simile. Now, metaphor is just the opposite, comparison without using like or as. Example, he was a lion in the battle. Let's proceed to the next one. Personification. Make something which is not alive sound like it is. इसका मीनिंग मैं दोबारा बता रही हूँ. I'm telling it again. Human like qualities attributed to an animal object or idea. Example: the wind exhaled, the flowers danced in the breeze. Got it, children? When a non living, to put it very simply, it will be when a non living thing is compared to a living thing. Now comes onomatopoeia. This is the sounding words, use of words resembling the sounds they mean. There's a buzz, buzz, pant, puff, hum, babble. More examples: babble, pebble. These are all onomatopoeia, the sounding words. Now let's proceed to the next one: refrain. The stanza that keeps on repeating after some lines in a poem. I'll give you a nice example of a poem, that is the brook. There, in that particular poem, there is a line, there are two lines which have been repeated 4 times. That is, men may come and men may go, but I go on forever. Refrain also gives the central theme of a poem. The central theme of the poem Brook is that brook is everlasting, whereas men will come and go. Now, let's proceed to the next one: imagery. Words or phrases that appeal to the 5 senses. That is visual imagery, then olfactory imagery, right? The 5 senses. The poets use imagery to create a picture in the mind of readers. You have to imagine that this is image. So the literary device is imagery. Now theme, like I always say when I start a particular chapter or a particular poem, that is the message about life which the writer or the poet tries to convey. Personification, giving an animal or object human qualities. Got it? When a non-living thing is compared to a living thing is personification. I suppose that I'm giving a nice example again from the poem Brook. It is, I come from the haunts of Kut and Hern. I is who? Who it is personifying? The brook. The brook comes from the haunt of the Kut and snow. Hyperbole is exaggeration. When the poet tries to exaggerate a particular point, that is called hyperbole, to give a dramatic effect. Now, oxymoron, a seeming contradiction in two words put together. Example: parting is such sweet and sorrow. Sweet and sorrow are two diametrically opposite words, so the literary device here will be oxymoron. I'll give you another example. The frog's joy was both sweet and bitter. Sweet and bitter are two contrasting words, so the literary device will be oxymoron. Now, the next one is paradox. Paradox is a seemingly contradictory statement. I meant to say that it's a statement. Suppose I want to say certain things to a particular person. I will not say to him in a more direct manner. I will just say, something, in an ambiguous manner. Like the example, when you increase your knowledge, you see how little you know. So, look, because when you want to gain knowledge, you feel that, Harry, I have so many things to learn more. Now, how can enhance more, more about the literary devices? There are many literary devices. I have only mentioned 20 or so, which are there in the syllabus. Alliteration, deliberate repetition of initial consonant sounds. Simple words, I'll give simple words. Same sounding consonants, just like sudden Sally. SS. Silence, silence. Consonants, the next one. Repetition of consonant sounds. Again, the next one is diction. The poet, they use lot of choice, lot of diction to enhance the vocabulary. Now, assonance, deliberate repetition of the similar vowel sound. Vowels, all the five vowels, A, E, I, O, U. Example, the tread of the feet of the dead. Matlab, how the dead people tread. I hope all of you enjoyed watching this video. Same as me, making it for your convenience, children. Please be updated with more interesting content in my next slides, in my next video lecture. Thank you so much for your patient hearing.